Salve tutti, benvenuto a Genova, birthplace of Christopher Columbus. Let's see what the city has to offer. That's him back there. Hey guys, today we're diving into the amazing city of Genova, Italy. From its people to its language, and even how the city got its cool name, we're going to explore it all. This is one of the most interesting cities in Italy, and by the end of this video, you'll see why. Let's get into it. So how did Genoa get its name? This is where things get interesting. There are a couple of theories, but the most popular one is that it comes from the Latin word genua, which means door or gateway. Genova was considered the gateway to the sea, connecting Europe to the Mediterranean. The city has always been a huge port, and back in ancient times, it was a gateway to trade, new cultures, and exploration. Every city has a story. So how did Genova get started? Well, it all began way back with the Ligurian people, an ancient tribe that settled here because the location was perfect. You've got the mountains on one side and the sea on the other, making it a sweet spot for trading. But the big deal happened when Rome showed up. The Romans turned Genova into a bustling port. Ships were coming and going, and Genova became super important for trading goods all over the Mediterranean. What makes Genova really special, it's its history. This city is over 2,000 years old. You can visit beautiful churches and explore incredible palaces. It's like walking through a giant museum where every building tells a story. And did you know this was Christopher Columbus's hometown? Yep, the guy who discovered America walked these streets. Most people here speak Italian, but Genova has its own dialect called Genovese. It's a mixture of Italian, Latin, and some other influences, and it sounds totally different from standard Italian. The dialect is still spoken by older generation and in more traditional areas, but even if you don't hear it everywhere, it's a big part of Genova's identity. Plus, it's one of the things that makes the city's culture so unique. This city is packed with jaw-dropping buildings that make you want to stop and take pictures every 5 seconds. There's truly beauty in every building. These are some of the fanciest buildings you'll ever see. Back in the day, they were home to the richest families in Genova. Now they're so special, they're actually part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site. These palaces were built to impress. During World War II, Genova was hit hard by bombings. The city was nearly destroyed. The people of Genova are tough. They rebuilt their city piece by piece. Today, you can still see buildings that survived the war and walk through streets that hold centuries of history. Walking down the streets feel like strolling down an art gallery. The buildings here are like works of art themselves. These streets are famous for its palaces, and every single one is full of history. If you love architecture, you're going to be in heaven. And the best part, you can check out decorations that have been here for centuries. It's like stepping back in time. These streets are home to some of Genova's most iconic buildings. Imagine walking through streets that were built specifically to show off how wealthy and powerful Genova was. Every corner you turn, there's another masterpiece of architecture, and you can find hidden gems, secret courtyards, and even ancient fountains tucked away behind these buildings. For the best views, take a hike up to Spianata Casalecto. Trust me, the views from up here are breathtaking. You'll see the whole city and the sea stretching out to the horizon. Genova's locals, known as Genoveses, are super proud of their city's history and culture, and they have this unique vibe. Hardworking and a little reserved at first, but once you get to know them, they're incredibly welcoming. Family and traditions are a big deal here, and you can see it in their everyday lives, whether they're having coffee at the local cafe or enjoying a Sunday meal with their families. And don't forget, these are the people who gave the world Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus, yep, the guy credited with discovering America, was born right here in Genova in 1451. He grew up learning about sailing and trade in the city, which definitely helped him when he set across the Atlantic. Today you can still visit his childhood home, which is a total must-see. I traveled across an ocean just to see Christopher Columbus's house. There's a bird up there taking his morning shit on top of his head. Fast forward to the Middle Ages, and Genova was becoming a powerhouse. It wasn't just a city, it was a republic. Genova's fleet was famous. These guys ruled the sea, battling pirates, trading with distant lands, and even fighting off rival cities like Venice. Genova was one of the richest cities in Europe back then. If you were rich, you were here in Genova. Now, the Genova Republic was riding high for centuries, but like all good things, it couldn't last forever. The city got tangled up in wars with Venice, France, and Spain, and that took a toll. By the late 1700s, Napoleon came in and took over, and Genova's days as a republic came to an end. So what's Genoa like today? It's a beautiful mix of old and new. You've got historical sites and you've got modern spots like Porto Antico, where you could chill by the sea. Now let's talk about Porto Antico, the old port of Genova. It's been around since the Middle Ages. Today it's filled with cool things to see. The breeze from the sea and the views are totally worth it. Genova is energetic. The streets here are filled with life. Cute alleyways, colorful buildings, and so many cozy cafes. Everywhere you look, it feels like you're stepping into a postcard. Genova is also known for its art and music. The city has produced some incredible musicians like Fabrizio De André, who's basically a legend in Italy. His music captures the soul of Genova, and you can still hear his music being played in cafes and bars. After Napoleon, Genoa became part of the Kingdom of Sardinia and eventually joined modern Italy in 1861. By then, the city was thriving again, especially with its port, which became one of the busiest in Italy. Tons of Italians set sail from here to places like America in search of a better life. Genoa was all about connection to the world and to the future. Genoa is where history meets modern design. and it's pretty awesome to see both come together so perfectly. Travel is the best adventure. Even though Genoa has a long history, it's a city that's always looking forward. There's a big mix of old and new here, modern buildings next to ancient palaces, traditional festivals, and new businesses popping up all the time. The youth of Genoa are keeping the city alive and exciting while staying connected to their roots. It's this blend of tradition and modern life that makes Genoa's culture so rich and interesting. So that's Genova. From an ancient port to modern day masterpiece, this city has seen it all and has come on top every time. Whether you're into history, food, or just wanting to explore a gorgeous place, Genoa should be on the top of your list. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more fun adventures. See you next time. Arrivederci ragazzi. Latin night in Genova.